Assalamu alaikum kids, and welcome to Arts Corner. I'm Sister Azra and I'm going to be sharing with you some fun and interesting art pieces that you can make that will inshallah help you to remember important lessons that we can learn from the tragedy of Karbala. Today we're going to be making a map of the journey of Imam Hussain. We spend a lot of time thinking about what happened on that tragic day of Ashura, but before that day and afterwards too, the family and friends of Imam Hussain had to travel a very, very long distance. First, they did that because they did not want bloodshed in Mecca, so they were trying to keep peace and go away from Yazid and his army. And after the tragedy of Karbala, Imam Hussein's family and his friends were forced to travel for a very, very long distance. So it's important for us to think about how much they had to travel at that time. Let's start with looking at the materials we're going to need. First, we'll need white A4 paper, or you can also use card. Then you will need A3 black card, some stickers, a black pen, glue, and some blue paint. And I'm also going to use a tea bag and some hot water, and I'll show you why. So we'll start by taking the white paper or white card. Now for this you're going to need warm water, so you have to make sure you've got an adult with you because we don't want you to hurt your fingers. But just dip the tea bag into the warm water, let it soak up the water a bit like you're making a cup of tea. And when you start seeing the colour change, that's when you know your tea bag's ready. So you're going to put it on the paper, squeeze out the water that it's soaked up, and then spread it all around. Keep dipping it in and adding more of your tea water as you go along, and spreading it all around. So your paper's starting to take on a whole different colour. Now the reason why we're doing this is just as an effect. We want it to look old, because we're talking about something that happened a very long time ago. Also, it gives the effect of a desert, because most of the countries that this happened in are filled with desert. And that's the condition that the women and the children had to travel through, hot, burning desert, without much food or water after the tragedy of Karbala. So once you've done that, you're going to have to set this on the side to dry. So once your paper or your card has dried, this is the kind of colour that it should take on. You're now going to take a black marker and draw out a map of the countries that are involved in this journey. So we have got Egypt here in the far corner. This is useful because it helps us to put things into context and think about the surrounding areas as well. We've got Syria right at the top here, and a town in particular that we're interested in is Damascus in the south, just about here. So I'm going to just write that in. We then have Iraq next to it. And in particular, we're thinking about the towns of Karbala and of Kufa. We then have Saudi Arabia, which is the largest piece of land here. And again, there's two towns in particular we're interested in. We have Medina and we have Mecca. Now over here on this side, we're going to have Iran at the top. And we've got the UAE down here. Now there is some sea. We've got the Persian Gulf on this side. And we've got the Red Sea over here. It doesn't matter if your map isn't 100% perfect. The important thing is to mark out the towns that are involved in this journey, because it's the journey that we're focusing on. So the journey starts in Medina. So we're going to take our stickers and we're going to put some stickers down in between the towns of Medina to Makkah. In total, this distance is 420 kilometers, and it took about 6 days for the caravan of Imam Hussain to do this first leg of the journey. Next, they travelled from Makkah all the way up to Karbala. So we're going to mark that again with our stickers, reaching up from Makkah all the way to Karbala. So this journey was 1,470 kilometers, and it actually took 28 days. So that's 28 days of traveling in the hot desert with women and children, with all your family and friends. So just imagine that for a moment and how tough that journey must have been. So now they have reached Karbala. Now, after the tragedy of Karbala took place, they had to travel to Kufa. So let's show that with our stickers here. Now this journey was 76 kilometers and it took about a day. After Kufa, they went to Damascus. So this journey was 1,200 kilometers long, and it took about 16 days. Think about the plight of the women and the children. How many children sadly died along the way because the journey was just so tough. There was no respite for them, and they were treated so badly all along the way. So finally we've reached Damascus. So this shows us the journey that was taken all in all. And what we're going to do is to mount it onto the black card. So let's turn it over. Put lots of glue on the back. There we go. And we're going to stick that down there. And we're using a black background just to remind us about how sad, how tragic these events were. And because we've got the two C's on either side, we're going to use our blue paint so that it's clear. It's okay that we're going to paint over the writing, because you can always paint on top if you can't see it in the end. So we've got the Red Sea on that side, and then we're going to do the Persian Gulf on the other. So this is what our map of the journey should look like in the end. Do try making these at home, and we'd love to see your pictures. You can tweet us at CABTV. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.